Orend Johnson Jr. is a multi talented artist from Houston, Texas, who is exploring music, songwriting, poetry, acting, and more. And he's on the line with us here just now. How are you today?
Doing excellent.
So, let's start with your acting career first of all. What was it
Yeah.
that actually got you into acting in the first place?
So since I was young, I've always been interested in acting.
Hmm.
I actually did my first play. It was for a church play. Around 3 or 4. My mom was over,
Yeah.
I think it was an Easter program or something like that. And as I got older, I started watching a lot of TV, learning about theater, just being interested in it. So from there, I started involving myself into like theatrical productions with like schools. Even
Yeah.
I even worked with some community centers,
Hmm.
colleges and stuff like that. And I've been like in 16 productions, and it's just that fire that's in me, you know. It's just my
Yeah.
passion for it, you know. So yeah.
Absolutely. And do you remember your first sort of acting job? Was that did that go well?
Uh, my first professional job was Bury the Dead by Erwin Shaw. I played as the
Hmm.
priest, and honestly, it went very well, actually. Uh, I just
Yeah.
loved the feeling of it. So I had 3 performances back to back. No, it was four
Hmm.
performances.
Oh.
Um, the first two, it was kind of shaky. I was trying to get in the groove of it. Then
Yeah.
the last two was like probably my best performance I ever did, and I just loved the feeling, the experience, and I was just happy to touch people's lives in my performance. I loved it a lot, so it was pretty interesting.
Yeah. So what kind of roles do you enjoy playing the most?
Uh, I feel drama comes more natural.
Yeah.
However, my favorite genre is actually comedy. Uh,
Oh.
drama is I played in the most natural, but comedy is for sure my favorite.
Hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Uh, and is there any role that you maybe wouldn't take on?
Uh, I haven't thought about that.
Hmm.
But I wouldn't take on any role that goes against my beliefs. Or I'm gonna go on more to
Yeah.
the business aspect of things. So let's say your agency got a role for you. So yeah, you accept the role, but there's also a contract incentive with it. A lot of actors don't know this. You can actually change the contracts to your own likings.
Hmm.
However, what I prefer to do, let's say if I'm on three, let's say my first 3 major films or whatever. Let's say I say, oh, you know, I don't want to sign a percentage compensation. I'd rather work for free, but also get the back end royalties. 'Cause let's say you signed
Yeah.
the contract, but you have to work a specific, you have to, there's something in the role that consists, all right, the role that you're doing, there's like a scene you maybe you're not comfortable with. And then if you're
Hmm.
like, hey, I don't want to do this, yada, yada, yada. So what would happen is, they're gonna waive a contract in your face, say, "Hey, you signed this contract. You're gonna have to do this." So I'm be like,
Yeah.
"No." So my first 3 films, I'm going to like, I'm not gonna take percentage. I'm gonna work for free and build my name up.
Hmm.
And if it becomes a major success,
Yeah. And are there any actors that inspire you particularly?
I don't want to follow anybody's career. But
Hmm.
however, I am inspired like from like Chadwick Boseman, Denzel Washington, Adam Sandler.
Hmm.
Oh, there's many out there. Honestly, I just love great films, honestly. And majority of times, if I watch a great film, those actors are in it. So
Yeah. And how do you balance your acting career with your music and everything else that you do?
um, so how I'm not really great at organizing a schedule. I'm gonna be honest,
Mm.
but whenever I have time to, like, let's say I have nothing going on like today,
Yeah.
I try to find something to do, like work on music for like about like a couple hours, or just hang with family or something like that. It could be anything.
Mm.
I'm not really set on a routine or anything. So I just go as the day goes by.
Yeah. So when was it that you first realised you wanted to make music?
Oh, maybe around age of 12. So my grandfather, he introduced me to a lot of like vintage soul, a
Yeah.
lot of jazz. I never really heard him listen to funk music. I got that from my dad. Just stuff
Mm.
like that. I listened to a lot of classic music because of my grandfather. Like when I used to visit them for like holidays and stuff like that. Um,
Yeah.
so we used to sit there and just listen to it. He used to teach me the instrumentations, the compositions of music, the theory behind it, just the
Mm.
backstory behind each song. And I started getting into music because of him. Because when he passed away, um, his deep love in music kind of passed on to me. And during 12, when I was 12 years old, I started like making like small YouTube videos. I kind of took them down. And then once I started getting into high school, I started like showing my talent in high school. People told me like I need to pursue it, and I
Mm.
just took it serious from there. It's not like a major story behind it. Just something that was just passed down to me through passion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how would you describe your sound to someone who's never heard it before?
Uh, I don't know how to describe my own sound because I have a different sound every time I approach a track. I just
Yeah.
don't like to be consistent with. I don't like to be. That's not what I'm trying to say. I don't like to be content.
Mm.
I like to push the boundaries, just explore new sounds, create new sounds, just stay true to myself. I don't like to follow like segues, of pop or hip hop or whatever. I just like to create my own sounds. That's all.
Yeah. And do you have a particular, process when you write music, or do you just sort of let it flow?
I actually, I actually have a multiple processes. Um, Usually I write every single day about small details of how my day went, how I felt, certain
Mm.
conversations, and then if I feel like I'm about to work on something, sometimes I'll write on the beat as soon as I hear it, if I like a beat. And then if I can't think of anything to write, I go back to my journal and I go back to a day of how I felt the same day I actually feel like working on music. I don't know if I explained that right, but yeah, it's more like a premeditation process of just going through each detail of how I feel that day compared to the other day that I wrote. I don't know if that makes
Yeah.
sense. I don't know how to
Yeah.
explain it right. So
Absolutely. Well, and you
yeah.
also write poetry as well, actually. So, how does that influence your songwriting? I mean, do they sort of complement each other? Because I guess lyrically, poetry and songwriting can be very similar.
My songs are poems.
Mm.
I write poetry and so I write my songs in a form of poetry. And whatever poem I wrote, I turn it into a song, and I try to make it match the theory and the rhythm and the theory of the instrumentation that I hear. Like if it's a sample, like let's say the sample is like a 1970 sample, and the song's about I don't know, marriage or whatever. I write based off what the sample is saying and how I feel and what I'm thinking about that certain subject. So yeah, my so I just turn my poems into songs. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, what's coming up for you? Are there any particular projects that you're working on?
Um, so I'm actually working on it's my own production. I honestly don't have the budget right now. I'm looking for investors and stuff like that. But many people may not know of him. Many people may do.
Mm,
Rad Sadkris and it's an actor named Coy Stewart. He
mm,
worked on a lot of films. I actually hit them up when I pitched my idea about a story that I'm working on called The Sick Home. It's like it's based off of a bunch of adopted kids. Yeah, they was adopted
yeah.
by a pretty wealthy African couple, and
Oh,
they're all trying to struggle on they're struggling on um how can I put this how to live how to live in a family with different backgrounds, different
yeah,
ethnicity, and also how to take care of each other while they're all going through their own hardships of different sicknesses or whatever, something like that. So I'm not gonna try to make it like all dramatic and dark. I want some comedy aspects into it as well. It's gonna be like a dramedy. So yeah, I'm just working on the budget, and me, Rad, and Coy have been talking three about 3 years from now about it. So yeah, that's what
wow.
I'm working on now. And music wise, uh, so one of my favorite artists is Lil Wayne. So the
Yeah.
reason why I've said this because when he first came out the gate, he started like dropping mixtape after mixtape after mixtape. So I
Mm,
want to develop that same strategy, just dropping as much music as possible this year. My plan is actually to drop at least 6 mixtapes just to build up to my next 2 albums.
yeah.
So that's what I'm working on now.
Well, in the meantime, where are we able to find all the projects you've released so far and keep up to date with you everywhere?
Uh, So you could find me on Spotify, Tidal, but I do want to get back into YouTube and SoundCloud because usually when artists gain major success on major platforms, they tend to forget that the their roots, like people
Mm,
that doesn't have the type of money for like subscriptions stuff like that, they come support the artist through YouTube and SoundCloud. So I want to be there for all my audience, you know. So yeah,
absolutely. Well, in the meantime, many thanks for coming on today. It's been great to have you on the show.
yeah. Thank you for having me. And I do want to leave everybody with a quote. Not really a quote, but it's just something I believe in. No matter what you do, just remember that fame isn't real. You can have like 5 million followers on social media, but at the end of the day, there may be like five, four people that's living in your household, and they also may not know who you truly are. Only person that know who you are is you and God. So no matter how famous you become, whatever, yada yada yada, just know that fame is not real because people will turn on you if you make a mistake. Um, Anything could happen. Just stay true to yourself. Stay rooted to your beliefs, and just understand that you won't be who you are without the people that supports you.